Hey First Baptist and others who are watching. I'm grateful that you tune into these videos. I want to bring you some very important updates, so make sure to just stick around. The first one I wanted to say is this week many of our committees met to talk about fall programming and different things that are going to be happening in the life of the church over the next couple of months. Adult Ed in particular, I want to showcase that committee. They're doing an excellent job. We are going to look at an alternative format from what we've been doing in terms of Wednesday family nights. Because of COVID-19, we're just not able to get together and have our Wednesday night family meal and then break out into our different groups. So instead, we're going to have different online group options for you at different times throughout the week, presented by different facilitators. So this may be great for you. You could join not only one study, but maybe two if you have time. Or maybe Wednesday night didn't work for you. Maybe another day will. So this will provide you with a lot of different options, but yet still the learning and growth and connection and community that we've always liked in our Wednesday family night activities. So that's exciting. Our audio visual systems are just old. And so as we've been telling you over the past couple of weeks, they're getting ready to get an overhaul. So be on the lookout for increased sound hearing ability, also just better picture quality, all of those different things. It won't happen right away, but it's going to happen in the next month or two, and I'm very excited about that. We've started live streaming weddings and funerals and doing more live stream with our worship services, and I think it's going to just be a thing of the future. So these upgrades will allow us to be able to not only reach people in our own church family, but others who are tuning in as well. Our organist pianist, Joe Piontek, started last Sunday, and I absolutely loved all of the clapping that was going on. There was an energy within the sanctuary. I hope if you watched online, you were able to feel that energy as well. But it was exciting, and Joe not only did the accompaniment, but he also played a special on the piano, and he is just fantastic. So I am looking forward to Joe continuing with our staff and also with our churches. He showcases his ability to play the organ and piano. This Sunday, we continue in our sermon series, Created for Significance. This sermon series is all about how God uses everyday, ordinary individuals to accomplish extraordinary purposes. That sounds great, right? I'm just an ordinary, everyday person, and God wants to use me, and God wants to use you too to do kingdom work, just like Jesus did with the disciples. The first week we talked about the parable of the banquet, and we learned through that we need to sometimes sit down and weigh out the cost and understand whether or not we're ready to take on the sacrifices that God may be calling us to take on so that we can do the kingdom work in which God is calling us to do. Now, last week we talked through a series of parables, and what we learned is that God is really on a relentless pursuit for two different kinds of people. Those who want to be fully committed to the work of God, and secondly, those who are lost. And all of us in the room or online, we fit into one of those two categories. So we talked about the lost sheep, we talked about the lost coin, and we talked about these parables in the sense that God is on a relentless pursuit for those who are committed and those who are lost. And we have to be able to not only sit down and weigh it out, but we have to know, are we all in? And I used the terminology in Sunday's message. Are we fans or are we truly followers? Because I don't believe that God's called us to be who we are, to just sit on the sidelines or sit up in the bleachers and just be spectators. Rather, I really do believe that God has called us to be active participants in the work of God. I was just talking to one of our congregation members not too long ago, and she shared with me one of the Psalms, and I absolutely love the different Psalms. And in this particular Psalm, she said, Nate, it's so reassuring to know that God uses not only younger people or kids or middle-aged folks, but God uses seasoned people and people of all different ages and kinds and types to be able to do the work of God. Now this week, we go into the story of the prodigal son. And we are going to learn how we have been created for significance to do God's work in a very, very special way. See, the story of the prodigal son may not always just be about the Son. What if we take a look at the Father and the Father's response to the Son in the situation that was happening? I think there's a lot to learn from this parable, and maybe the background story that you have known from this parable, I may be able to elaborate on even that much more. Some of us have heard about the prodigal son, but how many of us have honestly delved into that story to really see what God is trying to teach us about how we are created for significance? So we continue to journey in Luke chapter 15, and we'll conclude our next 2 weeks after that in Luke chapter 16. So whether you join with us online or here in person at the First Baptist Church, we are glad that you are participating in the life of First Baptist. You are so meaningful and so special to the ministry of this church. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in person or live stream on Sunday. God bless.